Well, hello, fourth graders. All right, this is Mr. Sherwin. We're back in math class today. I hope you had success yesterday doing the math quiz. Today, we're just going to go over it real quick before we get started with the new lesson for today. All right. So this is what you should have gotten yesterday. This this quiz, a paper copy of it. And, when you get something like this, it's very important that you listen to the teacher and you read the directions, okay? Because most likely, I know in my class, we restated over and over again that you need to show your work in a lot of these, all right? So we're going to get started here and go through the whole thing, all right? So this is the answer sheet. Okay, so first is find the area and perimeter of the rectangle. You must show your work and write your answers with the appropriate label, okay? So here is the rectangle. It's this gray rectangle right here, all right? It's on top of grid paper. Some of us decided to do the rectangle on the outside, which is not a rectangle, it's the grid paper, all right? It's this one in the middle. So I had to find area and perimeter. So I wrote down my formulas. Area equals length times width, or A equals L times W. And then I put in my real numbers. This was 7 by 5. So 7 times 5, and then I solved 7 times 5 is 35. And then down here, I wrote my answer in with the appropriate label. Area is measured in squares, right? If you look under your feet, under your desk, you see those squares. That's area. That's how we measure it. That was worth 2 points. The perimeter is side plus side plus side plus side. Or I could do 2 times L plus 2 times W, or whatever we discussed it, but if you add up all the sides, you're going to end up with 24, and that came out to 24 centimeters. And that's not in squares. It's just plain old centimeters. It's the distance around an object, like fencing, okay? So let's go through the rest of the next two are very similar, okay? Here is the next problem. This problem is find the perimeter and area of the rectangle, show your work. So here it is. I've got my formulas, solved it all up. This one doesn't show the grid on the inside, so you had a counter on the outside here. And this was a 4 by 8, came to 32 square centimeters for area, and the perimeter was 24 centimeters, okay? And I showed my work over here, okay? And the next one, all right, is find the area and perimeter of the rectangle and show your work. This is a 9 by 2, all right, or a 2 by 9, doesn't matter. Multiplication is a commutative property. So I showed my work over here, and my answers came out to be 18 square meters, because this is meters this time, and perimeter was 22 meters, not squares, okay? All right, so now, number 4. What is the perimeter of a square with sides that measure 3 feet? We have to draw a model. So I drew my model. I made a square with as even sides as possible because I know a square has got 4 equal sides with 4 right angles. One side was 3, so that means all the sides are worth 3. So perimeter is equal to side plus side plus side plus side. Well, I see 4 groups of 3, so I just said 4 times 3. And that equals 12. So my answer over here was C. Okay, 12 feet. Down here, Ms. Reese had a rectangle and an area of 20 square centimeters, period, stop. Which of the following could be her rectangle? So if I know area is length times width, all I have to do is multiply these numbers, and whichever one comes out to be 20 square centimeters is my answer. This one's 14, that's not it. 5 times 4, that's 20. That has to be it. But just to check, 8 times 2 is 16, 5 times 5 is 25. So B was the correct answer here. Okay, on to 6. Given the rectangle's area, find the unknown lengths. Well, it's given me the area, and it's given me a side, but it doesn't have this other side. So I know that area equals length times width. So this is 64 equals width times 8. So if I just divide 64 times 8, that gives me 8. Or if I wanted to say, what times 8 equals 64, I could do that too. And my answer down here was 8 units, okay? All right, down here, Shelley has drawn a rectangle on the grid below. The height of a rectangle is 3 units, and the width is 1 unit. Use the grid to draw a rectangle that is 6 times as wide as Sally's rectangle. I used her rectangle and just made 5 more. So I multiplied this by 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what is the area and rectangle of the rectangle you drew? What we did here is just cross this out on our sheets. We just found the area. And area equals length times width, which was 3 by 6. So that's 18 square units. 2 points for all the work shown. And then finally, here is the same exact problem we did in class, except I just used different words. All right? So a stage curtain is 5 times as long and 5 times as wide as a curtain in the office. The office curtain is 4 feet wide with a perimeter of 14 feet. Okay? What is the perimeter of the stage curtain? Use a model to help you solve the problem. So I had more information about the office curtain. So the office curtain was a width of 4 and the perimeter was 14 feet. So what I did was realize that perimeter is side plus side plus side plus side. So 4 plus 4 is 8. If I take that 8 and subtract it from 14, which is the distance around, I end up with 6. If I take that 6 and split it into 2 equal groups to get these 2 sides, I know that it's going to be 3 on each side. So 4 plus 3 would be 7. 4 plus 3 would be another 7. Put it together, that's 14. So I know that the length is 3 and the width is 4. So the stage curtain is 5 times that. So I drew a big, huge rectangle and did 5 times 4 across the top, which was 20 feet, and 5 times 3 up here, which is 15 feet. I added up all my sides, and I came up with 70 feet. And here's my answer. The perimeter of the stage curtain is 70 feet, okay? If at any moment you want to stop or talk about any of these problems, be my guest. Feel free. All your grades have been dealt with in the Google Classroom and resubmitted to you, so you can check them out as well. All right, hang tight. We'll be right back with our I can statement.